The Waters of Bath, the first story in the series following our young traveller set in 1930s England. Part 1. Arriving by train. The train slows. You have been watching the English countryside pass for the better part of an hour. Long, low fields of pale green, hedgerows running in uneven lines across the hillsides, the occasional farmhouse sitting quiet and grey beneath a wide, overcast sky. The clouds today are soft, not the dark, threatening kind, just a gentle white grey, the kind that diffuses the light evenly and makes everything look a little softer, a little more still. The brakes begin their slow work. There is a gentle pressure, hardly noticeable, as the train eases itself down from speed. The rhythm of the wheels changes, that familiar clatter becoming slower, more deliberate, each sound more distinct now. The carriage rocks slightly from side to side, a steady, unhurried rocking like a cradle. Outside, the open fields give way to something denser. Stone walls appear, old ones, their mortar long since turned grey and mossy. Gardens back up against the railway line, small and orderly, some with late roses still holding on, their petals slightly past their best, but still there, still soft. A cat sits on a garden wall and watches the train pass with the complete indifference that cats have always reserved for large, noisy things that are none of their business. The station appears, Bath Spa. The letters are painted in the old Great Western Railway style, cream and chocolate brown, neat and clean against the pale stone of the station building. The train comes fully to rest with one long, final exhale of air from the brakes, and then there is quiet. You take your bag from the overhead shelf. It is light, you have packed only what you need, and you step onto the platform. The air is different here. You notice it immediately. It is warmer than you expected, carrying with it something faint and mineral, something ancient. The city of Bath sits over a natural hot spring, the only one in all of Britain, and on certain days, when the wind is right, you can catch the faint, earthy, sulphurous warmth of that water rising from deep below. It is not unpleasant. It is simply old. It smells of the earth itself. You walk slowly through the station building, out through its wide doors and into the street. Part 2. The City of Stone. Bath is built almost entirely of one material. The stone is called Bath stone, a warm, honey-colored limestone quarried from the hills surrounding the city. In morning light, it glows almost amber. In overcast light like today's, it settles into a gentle cream, soft and even, like old parchment. Every building, every wall, every pavement, all of it cut from the same hills, the same earth, as if the city simply grew naturally from its own ground. You stand for a moment on the pavement outside the station and look up at the buildings around you. They are Georgian, most of them, built in the 18th century when Bath was at the height of its fashionable reputation, when the wealthy and the titled came here to take the waters, and to be seen taking the waters, and to attend concerts and assemblies, and to walk in their fine clothes along the broad promenades. All of that is long over, of course, but the buildings remain. You begin to walk. There is no rush. You have no appointments, no reservations, no schedule. The whole afternoon is yours, and the only thing you intend to do is move slowly through this ancient city and let it settle around you like the warmth from those underground springs. The streets are not wide in the center of Bath. They were built before motor cars, and they were built for walking, and they are at their best when walked. You move along pavements of flat stone, their surfaces worn smooth and slightly uneven by 200 years of footsteps. The buildings on either side rise 3 and 4 stories, their facades gentle and regular, rows of sash windows, each with their small panes of glass reflecting the pale sky. Here and there a door catches your eye, painted black or dark green, or a deep burgundy red, with a brass knocker in the shape of a lion's head or a simple iron ring. Steps of stone lead up to each one, worn at their center where countless feet have climbed and descended over the years. You think, without particularly meaning to, of all the people who have passed through those doors. All the ordinary comings and goings of 200 years of lives lived in these buildings. You pass a bakery. The smell reaches you before the shop does. Warm bread, something with cinnamon, a faint sweetness that drifts out into the cool air and dissolves. You slow for a moment, breathing it in. Then you carry on. A small square opens up ahead of you. There is a bench beneath a plane tree, its bark peeling in patches of grey and green, its remaining autumn leaves the colour of old gold. You sit for a while. There is no reason not to. You watch the pigeons pace along the edge of a low stone wall in that self-important way pigeons have, their heads bobbing with each step. A woman walks past with a shopping bag. An old man crosses the square without looking up. A child on a bicycle rings their bell twice at nothing in particular and disappears around a corner. The city moves at its own pace. Unhurried. You rest. Part 3. The Roman Baths. When you are ready, and you take your time being ready, you make your way toward the center of the city and the Roman Baths. The building that houses them is mostly Victorian, built in the 19th century over and around the far older ruins below. The entrance is through a handsome archway, and as you descend the steps into the lower levels, the temperature changes. It becomes warmer, damper. The stone around you grows darker, older, the honey color of the Georgian buildings above giving way to something deeper, brown and rust, and the dark green of centuries of algae and mineral deposit. And then you see the water. The Great Bath is the heart of it. A large rectangular pool, open to the sky, its water a deep, still green. Not clear, the minerals in the water and the algae that grows along its edges give it that color, and in the flat afternoon light, it is almost perfectly calm, its surface barely moving, reflecting the pale sky above and the ancient stone pillars that surround it in wavering, gentle shapes. The water is warm. You can see the steam rising from it in delicate wisps, barely visible, drifting upward and dissolving into the cool air. The Romans built this place almost 2,000 years ago. They called the goddess of the spring Sulis Minerva, a blending of their own goddess with the older Celtic deity the Britons had been worshipping here long before Rome arrived. They built a great temple around the spring. They built this bath. They came from all across the empire. Soldiers, merchants, priests, ordinary people. And they lowered themselves into this same warm water. You stand at the edge of the great bath and look down into that green water, and there is something deeply calming about its stillness, about its age. The water rising from the spring below has been heated deep underground, moving slowly through the rock, a journey that takes thousands of years. The water you are looking at now began that journey in the Mendip Hills as rainfall, seeping down through limestone, being warmed by the earth, rising again here. A process so slow and patient, it makes the span of a human life feel like a single, quiet breath. Around the edges of the bath, on ledges and in alcoves, stand the stone heads and fragments of statues recovered from the site. They gaze out with worn, calm faces, faces that have lost their detail to time, smoothed and softened by the centuries, but still somehow recognizable as faces, still somehow present. You walk slowly around the perimeter of the bath, your footsteps quiet on the worn stone, pausing wherever something catches your attention. A small carved inscription on a fragment of wall, a votive offering preserved in a glass case, a thin sheet of lead rolled and inscribed with a curse thrown into the sacred waters by someone 2,000 years ago who had a grievance and trusted the goddess to settle it. What was it over? A stolen cloak, a disputed debt, something so important in that moment and now completely unknown. History has a way of doing that, of making the enormous feel small and the small feel human. Part 4. The River Avon. You leave the baths as the afternoon begins to shift toward evening, the light softening further, the shadows lengthening along the stone streets. You make your way down toward the river. The Avon runs through the center of Bath in a long, easy curve, its banks lined with stone and with trees that in summer would be full of green, but now in the late season show their bones, the bare branches reaching over the water reflected in its surface in dark, wavering lines. The river is slow here, wide and slow. It moves with a kind of unhurried dignity, carrying its brown water steadily along, as it has always done, as it was doing before the Romans arrived, as it will be doing long after everything built on its banks has returned to the earth. You find a path along the bank and follow it. The sound of the city fades behind you as you walk. The traffic and the voices and the ordinary noise of a busy place drops away, and what remains is simpler. The sound of the water moving. The occasional call of a bird from somewhere in the bare trees, a robin perhaps, its voice thin and clear in the cool air. Your own footsteps on the path, quiet and steady. The path takes you under a stone bridge, and for a moment you are in shadow, the bridge arch framing a view of the river ahead, where it curves gently to the right and disappears behind a stand of willows. Their long branches trail down toward the water, barely moving in the faint breeze, their reflection rippling softly in the current. You emerge from the shadow of the bridge and carry on. A narrowboat is moored along the far bank, long and painted in dark green and red, its curtains drawn, a small thread of smoke rising from its chimney. Someone is living quietly on that boat, in those small, ordered rooms, moving through their day in the particular peace that comes from being on the water, contained, unhurried, the river doing its slow work around them. You watch the smoke from the chimney rise and disperse and think about what it would be like to live so simply. Farther along, the path takes you through a small meadow. The grass is short and pale, the color drained by the season. A few crows walk across it with their dignified, unhurried gait, examining the ground. Beyond the meadow, the hills that surround Bath are visible, wooded slopes, their trees stripped of leaves now, their outlines soft against the grey sky, the old stone of the city visible here and there among the trees where the houses climb the hillside. You stop and look at it all for a while. The meadow and the river and the hills and the pale sky above everything. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. The world at this moment is simply this. Cool air, still water, the smell of damp earth and stone, the thin voice of a robin somewhere in the trees, and the gentle, unceasing movement of the river beside you. Part 5. Evening. You make your way back into the city as the light begins to fade. The street lamps come on, not all at once but gradually, a few here and then a few more, their warm light falling in pools on the pale stone of the pavements and walls. Bath at dusk is a gentle thing. The day's visitors have mostly gone. The streets are quieter. The golden stone of the buildings catches the lamplight and glows, and for a little while the whole city seems to be made of something warm and alive. You find a small tea shop on a side street and go in. It is a narrow room with low ceilings and dark wooden tables, and the kind of chairs that have been there so long they have taken on the shape of all the people who have ever sat in them. A few people sit quietly, talking in low voices or reading. The woman behind the counter brings you tea without ceremony, a proper pot, a small jug of milk, a cup and saucer, and you pour it slowly and wrap your hands around the cup and feel the warmth move through you. Outside the window, the street is quiet. A couple walks past slowly, arm in arm. A man stops to look at something in a shop window and then moves on. A cat, perhaps the same cat from the garden wall by the railway, perhaps a different one, it is impossible to say, sits in the shadow of a doorway and watches the street with half-closed eyes. You drink your tea. The tea is strong and hot and exactly right. You drink it slowly and taste a small but very delicious homemade pastry that complements the tea perfectly. After some time, you pour a second cup and sip as though time simply doesn't matter. By the time the pot is empty and the pastry is gone, the street outside has grown quite dark and the lamps are the main source of light, and the stone of the buildings has shifted from its daytime cream to something richer and more golden. You sit for a little while after the tea is finished, doing nothing in particular, just sitting, just being in this warm, quiet room in this ancient city, with the sound of low voices nearby and the faint clink of cups and the distant sound of the river. You cannot actually hear the river from here, but you know it is there, moving in its slow and patient way through the dark. And you feel the day settling into you, all its gentle impressions and quiet moments, layering themselves one on another like the pages of a book being slowly closed. The Roman water is still rising from the earth below. It has been rising for thousands of years, and it will rise for thousands more, warm and mineral and ancient, carrying within it the memory of rainfall that fell on distant hills before any of this was built, before any of this was imagined. The stone of the city rests around you, pale and steady. The river moves. The lamps burn quietly in the street, and everything is slow and warm and still. Part 6. The decision at hand. You set the empty teacup down. The woman behind the counter is wiping the same section of the wooden bar she has wiped 3 times already, unhurried, content in the small repetitions of closing time. The other customers have gone. The low voices and the quiet clink of cups have faded, and the room is very still now, holding only the faint smell of tea leaves and spices and something older that belongs to the building itself. Outside, the street lamps burn in their steady way. The stone is golden. The city is settling into the particular quiet of a weeknight evening, not empty, but inward, as if Bath has simply drawn a long breath and decided to hold it until morning. You think about moving on. There is always that pull with a certain kind of traveler, not restlessness exactly, more a quiet curiosity about what lies around the next bend in the road or the next station down the line. You have always preferred finding out to wondering, and so you leave a few coins on the table, a little more than the tea cost because the warmth of the room deserved it. Pull on your coat and step out into the cool evening air. Your bag is still light. You packed only what you need, and what you need, it turns out, is not very much. You turn toward the station and begin to walk. The streets are quieter now. Your footsteps are steady on the worn stone pavements, and the city moves gently around you. A distant laugh from somewhere, the soft sound of the faint voice of a wireless set, the BBC News reading out the day from somewhere behind a ground floor window, the smell of someone's evening meal drifting from a kitchen. Ordinary life, going on in its ordinary way behind all these ancient walls. The station is not far, and then you see the cat. It is sitting directly in the middle of the narrow pavement ahead of you, square in your path, regarding you with the same unhurried composure that cats have always brought to such situations. It may be the same cat from the garden wall by the railway line, the one who watched the train arrive with such magnificent indifference. It is impossible to say, but it sits there now as if it has been waiting, as if it has all the time in the world, which of course it has. You slow your pace, you stop. You could easily walk around it. A small step to the left, a brief detour of no more than 2 or 3 feet, and you would be on your way. The station is just ahead. There may still be a late train. The night and whatever it holds beyond Bath is still available to you. You take that step to the left. And in that precise moment, in the small hesitation between intention and movement, something shifts. It is nothing dramatic. No voice, no vision, no sudden revelation. It is simply a quiet awareness, arriving unhurried, the way all true things seem to arrive in Bath. The awareness that a city which has stood for 2,000 years cannot be fully known in a single afternoon. That you have walked its streets and stood beside its ancient waters and followed its river through the fading light, and that what you have seen is real and good, and that it is at the same time only the surface of something far deeper. There are whole neighborhoods you haven't wandered. The Royal Crescent at dawn, when the light comes low across the hills and turns the stone to amber. The covered market, the small museums tucked into Georgian buildings on quiet streets. The canal that runs east from the city, its towpath disappearing into the countryside. The hills above Bath, where the old city looks small and perfect in the valley below. A single day has barely scratched it. You stand there for a moment longer, the cat watching you without judgment, the lamp throwing its warm circle of light on the pavement between you. You are tired. The day has been long and full and good, and your feet know every stone between here and the river. What you need now is sleep, and in the morning everything will be clearer. The question of where to go, what to look for, what it is about this particular city that has held you longer than you planned. You turn back. The tea shop window still glows softly at the end of the street. You push open the door and the woman behind the counter looks up, unsurprised, as if she has seen this before. The traveler who left and thought better of it. You ask, quietly, if she might know of somewhere nearby to stay for the night. Something simple, nothing grand. She thinks for a moment, then nods. There is a small guest house, she says, just 2 streets over. Clean rooms, a decent breakfast, a landlady who doesn't ask too many questions. She gives you the name and the direction with the easy manner of someone who has lived in the same place long enough to know all its quiet corners. You thank her. She waves it off as nothing. Outside, the cat is gone. You find the guest house without difficulty. A narrow Georgian terrace, a small brass plate beside the door, a light burning in the ground floor window. The landlady shows you up a staircase that turns twice and deposits you in a room with low ceilings and a window that looks out over the rooftops, chimney pots dark against the night sky, the city stretching away in its quiet lamplight below. You set your bag down. The bed is narrow and the mattress is soft and the room smells of old wood and clean linen. You sit on the edge of the bed for a moment and listen. Somewhere below, a clock ticks. Beyond the window, Bath settles into its ancient sleep, the warm water still rising unseen from the deep earth, the river still moving in the dark, the stone of 2,000 years resting quietly around you. In the morning, you will think about what brought you here. In the morning, there will be time. Part 7. The Morning and the Message. You wake slowly. For a moment, you are not entirely certain where you are. The ceiling is low and unfamiliar, the light coming through the curtains is soft and pale, and the sounds outside are the quiet sounds of a city just beginning its day. A delivery somewhere nearby, the distant call of a bird, footsteps on stone passing beneath the window with unhurried purpose. Then it comes back to you. Bath, the guest house, the cat on the pavement. You lie still for a little while and let the morning settle around you. The room looks different in daylight, warmer, the old wood of the furniture catching the early light, the walls the color of faded cream. On the small bedside table, someone has left a glass of water and a folded card with the breakfast hours written in a careful, old-fashioned hand. 7 until 9. Downstairs. You wash and dress and make your way down the narrow staircase. The breakfast room is small, with 4 tables set with white cloth and mismatched china. 2 of the tables are occupied, a couple by the window speaking in low voices over their toast, and in the corner, 3 men of a certain age, locals by the look of them, the kind of men who have eaten breakfast in the same place every morning for 20 years and have long since stopped needing to look at the menu. You take a table near the wall and order without fuss: tea, eggs, toast. The landlady moves between the kitchen and the room with the quiet efficiency of someone who has done this 10,000 times and finds a certain deep satisfaction in doing it well. You eat slowly and you listen. The 3 men in the corner are talking in the easy, overlapping way of people who know each other's sentences before they are finished. Most of it washes over you. Local matters, names you don't recognize, the particular shorthand of people rooted in a place. But then one of them says something that catches your attention. He is describing a walk. Not the walks the tourists take, not the Roman baths or the crescent or the abbey, but the other ones. The ones that most visitors never find. The old field path above Bathwick, he says, where you can see the whole city laid out below and not another soul in sight. The walled garden nobody tends anymore, but the gate is never locked. The stretch of the canal past Bethampton, where the water is so still in the early morning, it looks like polished pewter. The old church at Freshford, a mile or 2 beyond the city, where the yew tree in the churchyard is older than the church itself. His companions nod. They know these places. They have known them all their lives. You drink your tea and say nothing. But you find yourself reaching for the small notebook you keep in your coat pocket, a habit of long standing, and writing down what you have heard. After breakfast, you thank the landlady and ask if there is a small shop nearby where you might pick up a few things for the day. She points you 2 streets over, a general sort of place, she says, that has most of what a person might need. The morning air outside is clean and cool, the sky a pale washed blue with the faint warmth of autumn sun beginning to gather. The stone of the buildings glows gently in the early light, exactly as you imagined it would. You stand for a moment on the doorstep and breathe it in. The shop is exactly as described, narrow, a little crowded, the kind of place where things are arranged by some logic known only to its owner. You gather what you need without hurry, a small bottle of water, an apple, a folded paper map of the city and its surroundings, the old kind printed on thin paper that folds and unfolds with a satisfying whisper. A short pencil to replace the one worn down to nothing in your notebook. It is at the counter while you wait for your change that you see it. The shop shares its wall with the building next door, and where the two old structures meet, the stonework is exposed. An irregular patch of bare limestone, its surface rough and weathered, the mortar between the blocks dark with age. And there, carved into one of the blocks at roughly the height of a man's shoulder, is a symbol. It is not large, perhaps the size of a hand. Cut into the stone with some care, its lines still clear despite what must be considerable age. A circle, and within it a series of lines that might be water, flowing, layered, the way water looks when it is drawn rather than painted. Below the circle, a single word in old lettering, worn but legible. Aquae, the Latin word for waters. You stand looking at it for a moment longer than is entirely natural for someone waiting for their change. Outside, you consult the map. At the end of the street, sitting on a low stone wall in the thin morning sun with his hands resting on a wooden walking stick, is an old man. He has the particular stillness of someone who has nowhere to be and has made a long peace with that fact. His face is deeply lined, his eyes are faded but still sharp blue. You approach and ask, carefully, not wanting to seem foolish, if he knows anything about the symbol on the stone inside the shop. The word aquae. He looks at you for a long moment. Then he smiles, slowly, the way people smile when they have been asked a question they have been waiting a long time for someone to think to ask. That, he says, is older than the shop, older than the street. He pauses, looking out along the road ahead. If you want to understand Bath, he says, you don't start at the baths. You start above them. Up there. He lifts his walking stick and points, not toward the city center but up, toward the hills that rim the valley, their wooded slopes pale gold and grey in the morning light. Follow the old path above Bathwick, he says. You'll know where to stop. He does not say anything further. He settles back into his stillness, hands on his stick, face tilted toward the thin warmth of the sun. You fold your map. You put it in your pocket. You look up at the hills and envision your walk ahead. Part 8. Above the city. The path begins at the end of a quiet residential street, where the houses give way without ceremony to a wooden gate and a track of worn earth rising steeply between old hedgerows. You push the gate open. It swings easily, as if well used, and begin to climb. The city falls away behind you faster than you expect. Within a few minutes, the sounds of traffic and voices have softened to something distant and general, and what replaces them is simpler. The sound of your own breathing, the creak of branches overhead, the occasional startled movement of something small in the undergrowth. The path steepens for a stretch, and you slow your pace, letting your legs find their rhythm on the uneven ground. The hedgerows on either side are dense and tangled, full of the remnants of autumn, a few last berries, dark and wrinkled, hanging in clusters. The occasional gap in the hedge reveals a view down across rooftops and gardens, the pale stone catching the morning light in that particular way it has, warm and steady. Then the path levels, and you emerge. The view stops you completely. Bath lies below you in the valley, arranged with a kind of natural elegance that seems almost too perfect to be accidental. The curve of the river catching the light on its far bend, the Abbey Tower rising at the center, the long sweeping arc of the Royal Crescent visible on its hill to the west, the Georgian terraces climbing the slopes on either side. All of it in that honey-colored stone, glowing in the morning sun, the whole city looking from this height like something drawn rather than built. A careful, beautiful illustration laid into the valley by some patient and devoted hand. You sit on a low stone wall at the edge of the path and look at it for a long time. There is no one else here. The old man in the street was right about that. A kestrel hangs in the air above the slope below you, perfectly still against the pale sky, its wings making the smallest adjustments to hold its place in the wind. You watch it. It watches the ground. The world turns very slowly. You think about the symbol in the stone. Aquae, the waters. The Romans named this place Aquae Sulis, the waters of Sulis, the waters of the goddess. Everything here comes back to water in the end. The spring rising from the deep earth, the river bending through the valley, the rain falling on the hills and seeping slowly down through the limestone and rising again, warm and ancient, in the heart of the city below. You take out your notebook and write a few things down. Not conclusions, you have none yet, just observations. The symbol. What the old man said. The view from this hill. The feeling that Bath is a place that reveals itself slowly, in layers, to those patient enough to stay. In the afternoon, you will walk the canal path. In the late afternoon, perhaps, you will find the old church at Freshford, and the yew tree, older than the church. Tomorrow, there will be other things. The covered market. The small streets behind the abbey you haven't yet explored. There is no rush. You have all the time that Bath will give you, which is to say you have all the time there is. Maybe tomorrow you will finally make it to the train station to continue your journey, provided there's not a cat blocking your way and clouding your judgment. The kestrel drops suddenly, swift and certain, and then rises again and is gone. Below you, the city goes about its morning. The river moves, the water rises from the earth. The stone holds its warmth against the coming day. You sit a little longer on the old wall, your notebook open on your knee, the hills stretching away on either side in their quiet autumn colors, and you feel something that is close to contentment and close to wonder, and is perhaps simply what it feels like to be exactly where you are supposed to be at exactly the right time, without having planned it at all. Rest now. There is nowhere to be and nothing to do. Let the warmth of the old waters rise around you, and let the pale stone city settle into quiet, and let your breathing slow to match the river. Steady, unhurried, carrying you gently along. Sleep well. We will continue our journey very soon, and so our traveler moves on, as travelers do. If this is your first time joining us, a word before you rest. Each story in this series stands on its own. You may begin anywhere and find your way in. But if you'd like to follow the journey from the beginning, the full series is gathered in the playlist below. Our next story is The Heir's Journey, London, and if tonight felt like the right kind of quiet, I think you'll find it waiting for you. If you've enjoyed traveling with us this evening, a like and a kind word in the comments means more than you might imagine. It helps other weary travelers find their way here too. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing. There's always another journey just ahead. We'd love to hear from you. Is there a city, a landscape, a quiet corner of the world you'd like our traveler to visit? Leave your destination in the comments below. Until next time, rest well and many pleasant journeys.